So it's beyond official. I'm moving back to New York. Made the decision like in no time. It was so weird. It was like I guess my father had heart problems, but I didn't know that they were that bad. And he got a stomach ulcer. He bled out like 5 pints of blood, needed 2 transfusions, like almost died. And after I found out that information, I was thinking like, well, he's gonna be fine. Stomach ulcers, no big deal. But then when I found out how much he was bleeding out like overnight, I was just like paralyzed. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. And it's weird because if you asked me the day before, I would have said I would never move back to New York. But it was like my perspective just went like a 180 when like my dad is like in the beginning of this journey that could be good or it could be fatal because it's a journey. It doesn't just like happen overnight. But it was like I felt paralyzed. Like I didn't want to be here anymore. And I can't shake this feeling. And it's like if you had all the money in the world, you could probably just relocate like the next day. And like my father's got a lot of money, but like there's still like a certain level of responsibility to like handle everything, get everything situated, get everyone situated to move on. But yeah, since that happened, even though I'm like happy to go about my day to day life in service to other people, there's something where I am actually completely checked out. Like I don't physically want to be here. I it's not that I don't want to be here, it's that I want to be in New York now. Like now. But that's not, in terms of our reality possible. But in the meantime, it's like I'm thinking about all the people that for the 12 years that I've been here, um New York looks expensive. It is, but because I'm from there, I have so much opportunity. Like my dad's in construction, he can build a house at cost. And I'm still really close with the owner of the last salon I worked at. So she wants to go into retirement, and then I obviously want to begin again. So I'm just going to go right back there. And there's all this business that is running through as people are transitioning out. So the timing is sort of perfect. My boyfriend's there. He was trying to come here. It was taking forever. I was getting really annoyed. And then my dad got sick, and I was like, forget that. I'm going there. We're staying in Saratoga. So it's upstate New York. Saratoga is where I'm from. That is the area that's kind of like the whole area I'm from. But it makes me reflect on, it's like the people you're gonna miss behind. I've been here 12 years. So it's like shout out to Kelly, my first roommate, who was a friend of a friend in New York who needed a roommate in Austin. She lived there for a minute. And when I met Kelly, I was like, it's my first roommate. She's from Austin. So she was like full of tattoos. She had black hair. She was so cool. She was so cool. And she like gave me the lay of the land. Kelly was like she'll always be like a sister to me. My first roommate. I lived with her for a while. And then what was my first Bird's Barbershop? Shout out to Bird's Barbershop. Worked there. My first paycheck without income tax, it felt like so much weight lifted off my shoulders at Bird's Bar. Like it's a family salon, sort of like a Supercuts, but for like a high-end city feel. And I remember my first paycheck, I feel like I barely worked and I made so much more money. And I was like, why doesn't everyone live here? And then I moved on to Milk and Honey, but I eventually wanted to end up at Roar. So shout out to Brooke, Milk and Honey, the manager. Shout out to the people who dropped me from my insurance, which started this whole tax nonsense. Had to sue them. The owner was like, I don't blame you. I would have done the same thing because I got that Obama tax. Shout out to Richard, the little gay guy who I guess he like told the manager that I was planning on leaving. He was supposed to be my friend. And shout out to the manager that fired me for telling my clients I was trying to leave because I was going independent to Roar. I always wanted to be at Roar. Shout out to Rory. I went through some really hard times in that salon because that was when I was finding out. Shout out to the beer brewing industry in Austin, in Texas, when I was finding out that these people are all pedophiles and human traffickers hiding behind a beer brewing industry. Shout out to them for making it so obvious. I don't think these people didn't want me to see what they were doing. They were friendly and they were also very arrogant about what they were doing. So I had to say something. Shout out to them, dude. No bad blood. It's like requires permission. Once people start to see, and now with the Epstein files, everyone sees that all these people everywhere are crazy. It gives them more permission to do more damage. So that's why they were baiting me to see them, was because if I say something to the general public, then the way the pendulum sways is they're able to become more predatory towards the general public. And then shout out to my roommate Jessica that I had for like 4 years. She was like the best. I mean, I have had great roommates. She's like a sister to me, always will be. We joke that she had blue hair before blue hairs became a thing. So I used to dye Jessica's hair blue every 2 months. And then as like all these blue hair liberals were getting crazy, Jessica dyed her hair back like her natural color. She's like, I was blue haired before blue haired was liberal. Don't blame me. Such good people. Her brother, Ryan, shout out to Ryan. Cledston at the spiritual church, I had this like supernatural awakening where I was experiencing supernatural phenomenon. And it's funny how this is the second time this happened in my life. It's funny how like you don't find yourself in a church, you find answers with the spiritualist people. So there are spiritualist people that are Christ, like foundation is Christ, and then they go on to do spiritual work. And that's how I found Cledston in Austin, because I was like, I'm experiencing so much like supernatural, not warfare at this point, but just like phenomenon. And he led me through the beginning of that journey, going into, you know, what was supposed to be perhaps good is not good. The new age culture is not good. Ufology is not good. Super soldiers, this is all not good. None of this is good. It's actually horrific and unnecessary. And the super soldier end, it's horrific and unnecessary. So like I came down here, learned this stuff, became aware of this stuff, only to come to this conclusion that the whole super soldier paradigm, following my awakening and a lot of the AI stuff incorporating Elon Musk, this shit is, excuse my language, it's horrific and it's unnecessary. This is why I don't support people writing books. This is why I don't support people even like retelling and ruminating. Even on podcasts, even though I've got friends that got podcasts and they do this and I think they make money. And as long as it's making money, I guess, you know, it's what the public craves. But me as a spirit outside of money, I think this shit is, excuse my language, horrific and unnecessary and should be forgotten. That's my conclusion. Shout out to the state of Texas and the Bar Association for getting me blacklisted from getting a job. Shout out to the architects of COVID who got people blacklisted for not having a vaccine. Shout out to the bus company. Shout out to everybody in that situation. Shout out to Saudi Arabia who bought out my apartment complex only to get super weird and crazy. Shout out to Texas for giving me free healthcare for a minute, for giving me a housing grant for a minute. Shout out to the people that bulldozed the fucking street that I live on, tore down all the trees, commercialized this country road, and then put up two what looked like concentration camps. Shout out to them. I forgot the dude's name. I used to go to these commissioner meetings. I would sit right next to him and go against him. Bush crime family, bond money. Shout out to them. And the crazy, and the psychopathic judges. There's like 5 psychopaths and like 1 normal person, and they're just waiting for that 1 normal person to stop going along the psychopath's agenda. It seems that's what I gathered from all that. It's like you got a commissioner board of judges, and like 1.5 of them, I only say half because there was a woman that was half in, half out. 1.5 of them are normal. The rest of them psychopaths. But the way it works in commissioner meetings, it seems, is they vote unanimously or whatever. It's like all reality takes is for those 1.5 people on a board of 6 people to say, nope, I disagree. Instead of being like, well, 4 of them agree, I'll agree. Don't do that. Don't do that stuff. I had a group of girlfriends in like 2016, Alexandria, Georgia. Shout out to them. Those are good friends for a while. Shout out to the chick that made me the maid of honor at her wedding and roofied me at her bachelorette party, getting me arrested, thrown in I was like what do you call it? Roofied. So I went to jail. And shout out to the cops that arrested me. I should have gone to jail. It was the safest place for me. After these bitches roofied me, shout out to them. Strasburg family, shout out to them. Shout out to her dad who owned the penthouse of the Austonian. Shout out to all the wonderful clients that I had this whole time. I've met some of the nicest, like, people are so wonderful. Seriously, like, my job is like proof that people are wonderful. When you don't overcomplicate things and you don't paint so much division, like, my job is so wonderful because I get to see that people are truly wonderful and worth keeping in touch with. I want to keep in touch with people. The world's going to get a lot smaller. And shout out to Joffrey. He's a good friend for a long time. Rasputin, basically. Demi Rasputin. Good friend. Nikki. Nikki is a sweetheart. He's actually the one who told me, because he was a bartender. He was like, after many years, he's like, where have you been? Everyone's been talking about you. And I was like, what the hell? I would have no idea. I wouldn't know that anyone knew me. He's like, for a minute, you were all anyone could talk about. I had no idea because I wasn't in the crowd. I was out working and doing things for the kingdom of God, it seems. Obviously, not the kingdom of but the kind of the kingdom of the devil, because I mean, these people baited me to do a lot of stuff. They baited me to like see their that's what I think. That's my optimism. I don't think this was like an accident. I think if I saw something bloody and horrific and said something, I don't think that the kingdom of the evil was like all against me. In the beginning I did, because I didn't know better, but now I see that like it's all the same. It's two sides of the same coin. In the legal system, it's like there is like a protection of Jesus over you when you serve his will. Um, not nobody can really actually do anything. It was like just basically all an illusion. But while I was here, I would say I didn't make much money. I moved here with the most money I ever had. And I'm leaving here with like the curiosity as to like why haven't I made that much sense? In my mind, I think I should already own a house and have 150 grand in the bank at least. And I don't. And that's a problem. So I also wouldn't want to lay roots down where I don't have family. I mean, you're reaching your 40s, you're considering the fact that you're going to have the next stage in your life where, first of all, your parents are going to get older and hopefully not. Like, I'm super interested in life extension technology. I don't anticipate my parents dying because I truly myself, I utilize life extension technology in the form of liver detox, glutathione, collagen, and then I'll do other things as it comes, as long as it's not made out of kitten tears or anything weird. But I would hope that my parents would be interested in utilizing the same life extension technology that I observe, that I'll find out about. But if that, even if that wasn't the case, but also even as a professional, like, why would you put down roots? I don't have any family here. Shout out to Brooke and her family. Like, I have this stalker that tried to get me fired from every job here, like, since 2019. This chick will harass the owner of a job that I've had until they either fire me or they can't block her number because she always calls from a blocked number. But I think she died actually because she hasn't like shown up anywhere. I think she died, which she kind of sounded like she was about to die. Her voice was like that of a dead person. But anyways, I appreciate that the owner of the salon I work at now, like her and her husband, like I believe truly love each other, and they're truly like a couple that was like formed by God, and their family is like totally protected. I don't think I could work for anybody that wasn't, because I was coming from a salon where it was like I mean, I worked for a man, not saying he's not, but his lifestyle was a lot different. He had a lot of fear. So when they started to manipulate him, he was like, I can't take the risk. But then I had to like move out of that city hoping the next town would be different. And then I still had like the stalker, and she would try to intimidate the owner of the salon I work at now. And she didn't have fear about it. And I appreciate her having my back, because that was like a lifeline. I mean, your job is a lifeline, and you need to work for people who can't be taken by the devil. I think that you need to be around people that can't be swayed by the devil. And your presence, I think, sort of shifts the environment, and then people start to reveal their true colors. You need to be in an environment where like everyone's kosher. So it's interesting how like people don't want to talk about this. And I don't think there's anything wrong with people who got the CVVC. I personally did not. And it's interesting though, like as time goes on, I certainly like have friends who took it, and like I work with people. Actually, I don't know. I think like a lot of my clients took it. I didn't, and like most of us didn't take it, like where I work. And I don't know if there's something to it. Actually, like got in an argument with somebody the other day who didn't take it, and arguing with him is a lot different than arguing with a man who has taken the shot, because I feel like when I argue with a man who's taken the shot, he or he's like placed in my vicinity, he's easily taken by the spirit of the antichrist, and then they start to speak the spirit of the antichrist. But it seems like people who didn't take it, for the most part, they if they're not like neurotic about health, because I think that's like the weird like other side of it. If they're not neurotic about health and they didn't take it, I feel like it's easier to communicate and co-create with these people. I don't hear anyone else saying this, but I think a lot of people are experiencing this. In fact, I mentioned it the other day, and this girl, my friend, she was like, "Dude, I feel the same way." Like everyone in her vicinity, same thing. Not saying you go around asking who's who and what's what, but it was like we didn't all announce that we didn't have it, but at some point I found out someone else didn't have it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't either." And then you find out someone else didn't have it, and it's like, "Oh my god, me neither." It was like the same thing in like the downtown high-end salon when it was only appropriate to talk about how much you hated Donald and how you were such a Democrat. So like in the salon, it was like people who were like pro Donald and pro God, and or we had to like whisper, like, are you pro God? Are you pro Donald? Not saying Donald is aligned with God, but I think God's using him. It was like a secret, It's like it's weird how it's like a secret. But you see how things are like panning out, and it's like, it seems like a type of like segregation and then also harmony with, I don't think it was a bad thing to take the shot, but I think a lot of people were guided not to take it. But I'm rambling now. I'm moving back to New York. Shout out to my awesome peeps. I've been here 12 years. And I really don't want to be here. I'm so checked out. I'm so checked out. I wish I could just get up and leave tomorrow. Not that I'm not gonna miss it, like the timing was so perfect. Like I'm not gonna miss it. I keep going to places that I think I'm gonna miss, and I'm like, I'm not gonna miss any of this. But it's funny how the day before, if you asked me if I would ever move back to New York, I would laugh and say no. But then the reality hits where your parents reach that stage of life where their life is way more fragile all of a sudden. And it's like, I can't stand being here. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to wait, but I have to. I have to wait. Got to pack everything up, which is actually a blessing because the last time I moved, I got evicted. It was like horrific. It was sad. It was circumstantial. It was something that was completely out of my control. So I feel like at the same time, God has given me this opportunity to like really perfectly plan everything and like pack everything into boxes sort of perfectly because I feel like that is part of my healing from an insane, unjust, reality is very layered, unjust eviction situation. So even though it's like torment to do all this, it's like at the same time, it's sort of healing because the last time I moved, I didn't have this luxury. They just throw your shit out like you're a goddamn criminal. And for some reason, the constable can't never flossed his teeth in his entire life. For some reason, the constable of Travis County has the deadest brown eyes I've ever seen and looks like he never flossed his teeth his entire life. That's all I could focus on. When like this constable came and I'm not like fighting with the guy obviously. I'm not fighting with these people, but he's kind of like explaining like the procedure respectfully. It wasn't bad. And I'm just like, you're not a real person and you don't floss your teeth. Like he's talking to me and all I'm looking at is just this disgusting plaque buildup in his teeth. I'm like, these people are not real. They can't be. There's no life in their eyes. They're like dead in the eyes, which, is regardless. Like he was fine enough, but you're also like, this thing is just subpar hygiene. Subpar hygiene. It's like I got evicted by people who can't even practice basic hygiene. That's just strange. It's very bizarre. It's a very bizarre world. In a world where, these people are not getting arrested for like the most extreme crimes. I understand there's a grandfather clause. It's like you get like fake arrested for not wearing a mask on a bus. It's like the irony is steep. It's deep. And I'm not mad about it. Because it doesn't matter because I was never actually convicted of a crime, and I actually like am way happier here than I would have been there. It's like when you get out of the autopilot world before you get saved by Christ and your perspective changes, and then Christ begins to build your life up. Everything in my life belongs to God. Everything in my life belongs to God. Everything now. But do you know what's interesting is everything I had before was just from me on autopilot. I thought it would be fun to make a post about the few belongings I still have from 10 years ago. There's probably a small bag of things I still have from 10 years ago because I have been through like just enormous upheaval. When you give your life to Christ, everything in your life has to be from God. This is why it's important to pass this wisdom on to children, because if children go out into the world and they start to develop themselves in a world without having Christ, and then in the best possible scenario they come to Christ, they're going to have to lose everything that they gained being on autopilot. That's my story. I had to lose literally everything but a small bag of belongings that belonged to me through my obedience and ignorance to living for the world. So everything that I have now is from God, and that is going to continue from Texas to New York. Everything that I will have will be from God. It will not be on autopilot. It will not be tainted, and it can't be fucked with. Definitely won't be able to be fucked with. That is really security to me because coming out of New York, I felt like that state was such a vampire. But now, circumstances, spiritual evolution is different. I'm going to go back into New York with that same covering of Christ, that everything that comes to me will be from Christ. I don't have to worry about the impositions of the government, the weather, whatever. I don't anticipate anything. But I think health mostly is like the thing. My dad's health, my family's health. You know, we got a lot of babies being born right now, and you just hope that you expect that everything's going to be good, and I believe that everything's going to be good. I don't have despair about any of this stuff. Um, but reaching my 40s, you see that there's like another generation that is reaching like their like another stage in life, but it's like a weird dicey territory because I feel like there's so much life extension technology. If you want to hear about it, if you want to utilize it, I understand a lot of people won't want to do that. They sort of have a death urge. They've lived their life. They're not interested in the next phase of life. They're not interested in being in pain. Like a lot of the healthcare is making it to like where people can live longer and not be in pain and have quality of life. But then some people they just maybe won't want to accept those elective surgeries and treatments and things. And then also maybe won't want to do what I'm doing, which is just kind of like finding the best supplements and detoxes to take to stay as young as possible for as long as you can so that you can be around for a lot longer. So it's funny how like 70-year-olds are healthier than some 50-year-olds. It seems like aging is becoming a bit of a choice. But that's it, I think. All right, have a beautiful night. Just kind of random ramblings, just saying hi basically. um don't know where this channel is going to go, but I definitely don't like talking anymore. Like I don't want to have shit to talk about. I just want to live. I don't want to have to talk about this stuff. I just want to live. I just want everything to be forgotten. I think the whole super soldier paradigm is completely unnecessary, should be forgotten, shouldn't be remembered, and it's horrific. And I think all this child trafficking Epstein shit should be forgotten, should be not remembered. It's horrific. This shit should all be forgotten. We shouldn't have, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have this stuff to talk about and we wouldn't have this type of isolation. Obviously, the reason why I create so much content is because I'm isolated. Not super isolated, but I'm isolated. But I will be back to Austin because my best friend lives here. She's taken over this house. So I will be back to Austin to visit. It's not goodbye forever, but I am just mentally checked out. I'm so ready to be in New York. I don't even want to be here anymore. I just want to be there. Um, and I'm just so excited to see everybody that I haven't seen in so long, but they're like family to me. It's like amazing. It's like so much fun and awesome memories. I'm so excited to like reintroduce myself and then like re-meet people that I've loved for so long, that have been in my life for so long. I'm super excited for that. Like, it's kind of like somebody you grew up with and then you haven't seen them in like 12 years and it's like you're like meeting them again, but like you knew them when you were younger. And I'm just so excited for all that and to see my family, like my cousin move back with her kids from Pennsylvania. Like that's awesome. Like everyone's in New York now for the most part. So I'm super excited. All right, check you later. Have a beautiful night.